So I have to behave myself is what you're trying to tell me. Okay. All right, you are. All right, so there we go. We are live on YouTube, and we'll record it so you can do that. All right, what else we got going on? Jennifer, welcome. Get a camera today? There you are. You're in your car. Okay.
Yes. Sorry.
That's all right. You're not driving while you're doing this, right?
No.
Okay, good answer. And we have you on tape, or we have you on recording. All right. Is this everybody? We got 10 people, so we're missing one. We will get started anyway. Who are we missing?
We're missing 2 people. It looks like it's Sanena and
Jesus?
Kelly.
Kelly?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you can fill them in, and plus we're taping it, or recording it. So what's going on? All right. So pitch me your idea. Tell me why I should go with your consulting group and not the 11 others.
Go.
Don't all speak at one time.
I think we're trying to share the screen. Jackie, you're trying to share your screen.
Okay. Yeah, you should be able to share screens, no problem.
Okay, so our new plan that we came up with is to make ceramic plates and dishes for a quick turnaround solution. So utilizing the resources that we have and increasing our in-house production, since it's operating at 50% capacity and costing us money because we're trying to keep all of the jobs that are there. Increasing our production would allow us to do that. And then going into our mid-level solution, we wanted to expand the collection into like different home furnishings. So we could do like decorative items, like we had mentioned like urns before, but now we're thinking maybe more like vases and things like that, as well as like home pieces that can be used when building homes, like essentials like some tubs, toilets, and sinks are sometimes made out of ceramic. And then in the mid-level solution, we did want to introduce some sort of ceramic recycling program because ceramic is non-recyclable. So the traditional blue bin recycling, you can't recycle ceramic, you can't melt it down and reuse it. So what a lot of people do is kind of upcycle it and kind of like take sometimes like smash pieces and make them into different things. So we would need to establish ourselves as a specialized recycling source for ceramics, sort of like there are specialized recycling sources for hard to recycle items, typically items that are in the like the little recycling like numbers, it's like 1 through 9. So items that are typically I would say like 3 or above or 4 or above are hard to recycle items. So they need to be specially recycled. So there are programs like TerraCycle that do recycle these items. So we would essentially become one for ceramic. And then into our long-term solution, we would hope to build contracts with construction companies. And someone did mention nailing an IKEA contract, which would be super great for our company. If IKEA could sell our ceramic dishware and like cookware and then home items in their stores, that would be really ideal because everyone loves IKEA. And our recycling program would essentially, I think our main thing that we would be able to create would be like tiles, like ceramic tiles with some of these pieces. So
Okay.
we could have essentially like a sustainability factor to our company to make us more appealing.
Okay. Actually, very good plan. Way to go,
Well
guys.
said, Jackie. Well said.
Yes, well done. Yeah. So usually what I do is, because a lot of people are confused at this point, I tell them the story about the Kyocera knives. One of the groups did, which is basically, household kitchen knives. They got a contract with Kyocera because Kyocera couldn't meet the demand and to manufacture and meet the demand. So they contracted out to CCC to make 1 million knives a month to sell to them, so they can so Kyocera can sell them. So which is a revenue stream right away. And then also what they did is they developed their own knife line and made different types of knives, ceramic knives, paring knives, serrated edge knives, chef's knives, and that in different sizes. So, and then they sold them on the internet. So that's kind of how they developed their plan, from going from making knives right away to a manufacturer already that has contracts and selling them, to developing their own line of knives. So very good. You guys did exactly almost the same exact thing. Excellent. Questions for me? Anything you're not quite sure about?
I do have a question, Professor. For our recycling or upcycle of ceramics, what we're doing it in the mid-level, would you recommend that being the good place rather than the short term or the long term?
Yeah. Are you going to make revenue? Are we going to make revenue doing that?
It will be a source of revenue, but like what Jackie said, we would need a sustainability factor to it because we know ceramic isn't recyclable, and
Mm-hmm.
kind of market our products knowing that we also upcycle, and that would be part of our, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. Most of the time, recycling, you lose money doing recycling. Companies in my industry that recycle, basically all they want is the gold out of the boards. And if you look at the statistics, you can actually get more gold from a ton of cell phones than you can get from a ton of earth from the gold mines. So there's actually a little bit more gold than what people think in cell phones and boards, electronic boards. But the cost is really great to collect that stuff, and also to recycle it, to make it into a product that you can sell. Melting plastic boards down costs a lot of money because you can't let that toxic fume go into the air. You have to, you have to clean it and stuff. So that it's very, very expensive. So that's something you might want to look into. So 9 times out of 10, it's more expensive to recycle stuff than it is to build outright. Hence why there is not always such a big push to recycle all this stuff that you should. In my industry, I get very upset because they literally build printers and copiers that are disposable. So they'll last 3 or 4 or 5 years, and then you throw them away. And then, and basically it's very frustrating when you could actually make a product that you could keep for 5, 6 years, 7, maybe even 10, and update it, upgrade it, but they don't. It costs too much money. So that's a very good idea. So if it's cost effective, do it. If it's not cost effective, I don't want to do it.
Professor, I have a question.
Sure.
Are we basically laying this entire paper out as like a business plan or like a pitch? That's how we would lay it out, the format?
Both of them, they're both the one and the same. So you're going to do it as a business plan. You're going to do it like a business plan, but it's going to be a pitch for me to go with your consulting company. So your executive summary is going to be your pitch, and your business plan is going to be how you're going to turn this company around, and how you're going to do it, and why you're going to do what you're going to do it with, and why you're going to do it, and how long it's going to take, which is basically a business plan.
Okay, I'm just curious.
Yeah, so you're going to combine two. Have you done a business plan before?
Yeah, I took Joss's class. That's why I was I was seeing it that way, but I wasn't sure if that's
Yeah.
what you were looking for.
Yeah. Just like Josso's class. So how was his class for business plan?
It was interesting. We had business pitches that we had to do every week, like
Mhm.
to him, which was nice. I think it was really helpful. And that like kind of pushed us to like work on our paper, because whatever was going to be on our paper, we had to pitch verbally. So it made sure like we were in line with what we were writing on paper.
Oh, okay. Very good. So yeah, it's going to be like a business plan, only it's going to be geared as a pitch. So many business plans and consulting plans, consulting pitches are going to be very, very much the same. So you're going to do why we're doing it, how we're going to do it, and how long it's going to take. Who, what, why, where, and when. Okay.
Professor, I had a question regarding like, should we incorporate how this venture would help like the original task of aerospace components?
Well, you still have to do the original aerospace component. You still have to make the blades. So, how you do that, like I said, you're only running at 60% capacity, I think it is, 50. So whether you make the blades all at one time for a month or whatever, or however you want to do it, and then work on this for 11 months. But basically the equipment and the machinery is all the same. It's different molds that you're going to use. Okay. So, but if essentially the manufacturing process for a blade is the same for a plate, it's just a mold.
So somewhere in our plan, we should incorporate how our capacity is going to be dealing with now the blades, and now how we're going to process it with ceramics as well, ceramic plates.
That's fine. So, or you can just dedicate maybe one or two machines just to make blades, or a few people from your labor pool to do that. So, it's up to you however you want to do it. What's the most efficient way to do it?
Professor, so is it assumed that we're incorporating or like the context of what's going on right now in the world with aerospace, with COVID-19 aircraft? So is it assumed we're including that?
If you want to include that, that's fine. If you want to exclude it, that's fine too. But considering that Boeing still has literally thousands of planes and orders that they have to fill, they haven't stopped. Life goes on. They're not flying as much. The demand for new equipment is not as much as it has been in the past. But they're still replacing airplanes. They're still adding to their fleets. Boeing's not Boeing is still making airplanes. Southwest Airlines is still ordering the 737s. I think they got approved now for the MAX, so they can start going back into production. So those are all the things you have to kind of consider. But as far as manufacturing goes, you want to concentrate on the new area that you're doing, what the demand is, what the supply is, what the barriers to entry are. So all those things you want to consider into factoring into that. So what's going to be the best value for me? What's going to be the best use of my resources and my capabilities as the CEO of CCC? So which consulting group should I go with? Who's going to present the best case? Who's going to be the best for my employees? For me, I don't want to lose this job. I live 5 minutes away from my office. I, commute every day. So, I don't want to have to go look for another job. So that's kind of the premise of it. Today I had a traffic jam. The cat and the dog were fighting in the hallway when I was coming to my office. So, the traffic was horrible.
I had a question.
Sure.
Would you want us to do like a timeline of any kind?
Not necessarily. I mean, you can do a timeline. That's not a bad thing. To let me know. In a visual timeline is really good. So if you do it towards the front of the report, saying, okay, this is what we're going to do, boom, and lay out the timeline. This is how much money you're going to make in 12 months. We're going to be able to go into production within 3 months. We can start selling to IKEA with their brand name on them for these dishes or whatever. And 5 months, and then positive cash flow in 6 months. You know, so yeah, a timeline would be great. So I bought a little cheese grater from IKEA like 30 years ago, and I still have it. It's just like the greatest thing I've ever bought. And we use it like at least once a week. Meatballs have gone downhill though over the years, I think. They're not as good as they used to be. All right. So what else we got going on? Any other questions? Good thing Jennifer's not driving.
Between short, long term, and then the mid solution, is there anywhere we should put majority of our focus on, or are they all pretty equal?
Well, the main thing I'm asking is for you to give me a revenue resource in 12 months. That's the problem I want solved right away. So, and then everything else is kind of icing on the cake, I guess you would say. So yes, actually, you know, plan out a marketing strategy and all this other good stuff, like a business plan. You know, what we're going to do in the immediate, what we're going to do in the midtime, and then the long term. So like, for example, getting a contract with IKEA to put their name on the plates, you know, the branding, that would be kind of a long-term solutions. Like we got a 10-year contract with IKEA or whatever, you know, make it up.
Yeah, I don't think they sell tubs or toilets, but that's something we can do.
No, but you know, you can. One group had a really good idea. They did toilet sinks, bathtubs, and toothbrush holders, ceramic soap pumps, and other accessories, all matching. So, like the tile from the floor all the way to your toothbrush things are all matching designs. So you could buy a whole set. So that was kind of interesting.
So we're just kind of focusing on the first stage of our plan, technically, and then have the long-term goals after.
Yeah, so the immediate problem, so you always solve the immediate problem, right? So the immediate problem is I need to make some revenue so I don't have to lay people off and close the plant down. Okay. So that's the most important thing that we need to do. And then in order to keep the company open and running, we need to find a solution that's going to help us for the medium and long term to keep making revenue. So once you get a good idea, build on it. All right. All right, Jesus, you can go to IKEA and get some ideas.
And meatballs.
And meatballs. Don't forget the lingonberries.
Professor, I just had one more question. Whether it would
Sure.
be helpful to implement how our value chain would change given like the new venture, and like how we would be dealing with like our primary activities and secondary activities any differently, especially within like outbound logistics, getting those plates out to like IKEA.
Absolutely, that's going to be incorporated in your overall plan. So how the outbound logistics are going to go? Are you going to ship to IKEA directly? Are you going to sell on the internet? Does IKEA have a central distribution center that you can deliver to that takes care of, you know, like the Western United States, Eastern United States, and Midwest? So do a little bit of research into that. Yes. As the value chain, you know, yeah, absolutely. You're going to have to look at all those different things. I cannot stress how important the value chain is when it comes to upper managers evaluating their companies. That is something that you can find places to save a lot of money. You can find places where you're losing a lot of money, you know, and you can actually come up with a lot of resolutions to everything that you're doing to your whole product line. So, all right. Other questions, concerns? So like a normal consulting group, you guys can meet with me more than once. Consulting groups meet on a regular basis with their client. So if you guys want to schedule a second meeting, that's fine. Just let me know and I'm available. All right.
Thank you, Professor.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Professor.
All
Have a
right.
nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you. You guys have a good one.
How would we get the recording?
Just go to the YouTube channel.
Oh, and are you going to title it or do we just look for it?
I will email it to everybody.